Hello and welcome back to my channel, and today I'm in a different location. This is our new spare bedroom because my usual filming dressing room is currently being converted to a baby boy's nursery, which is so exciting, and I'm hoping I'm going to be able to show you that in next week's video. So today this is my new filming location and it probably will be for a little while, but today I just wanted to talk you through my most recent midwife appointment, which is my 36-week appointment, and also talk to you about my birth plan. Now, if you follow me on YouTube, you might have seen that I uploaded a short, and this time there wasn't actually that much to report from my midwife appointment, which was good. Urine came back fine, baby's heartbeat was fine. She said that he's really strong, like he was giving her a really good kick. My blood pressure was fine, and then she did my fundal height where they measure your bump, and it had actually gone up on the chart. Annoyingly, I didn't take a picture. I always take a picture and I didn't this time, but it was literally like here, trying to do it on the camera, here, and it had gone up to like here, so like only a tiny increase, but she said it was on the right trajectory, which means I didn't need a growth scan this week, which is obviously good because you don't want to have to go to hospital to have growth scans and be worried about baby size and things like that. But at the same time, I was kind of sad to not see him this week, but never mind. I know I have definitely grown. I will try and show you a quick clip of my bump. Here's my bump. He's definitely bumping. He's definitely grown. My back is killing me. I've got ligament pain, and yeah, my bump is definitely bumping. And in this appointment, she also talked to me about my birth plan, and that is what I want to talk to you about in this video. I was actually going to film this video as I was writing my birth plan, so we could do it together. However, I'm so glad that I didn't. A, because it took me a hell of a lot longer than I thought it was going to take me, and B, it actually made me quite emotional writing it. I was literally saying to a friend today how all the things that have made me emotional throughout this pregnancy have been the little things that I never even thought of, never even thought that would make me emotional. And my birth plan was definitely one of those things, and as I was writing it, I was emotional. Some of the decisions that I was making, I really struggled with, and I couldn't figure out why, and it just took me, as I say, a lot longer than it probably should have done. So it's a good job that I didn't do it on camera, because this would have been a hell of a long video. But I thought what I would do is just talk you through some of the decisions that I've made, how I've written my birth plan, what I've included, and hopefully it'll help some of you guys if you're like me, sort of like that 36-37 week mark, and you're now thinking about writing your birth plan. So I remembered reading in one of my pregnancy books that I needed to keep my birth plan quite simple, like bullet point form, because obviously a copy goes into your notes, you'll discuss it with the midwife on the day, but they kind of need to be able to look at it quite quickly. So that is the format that I've done. It's in bullet points. I put it into categories. It's in bullet points. There's no big long paragraphs apart from right at the end where I've added some general comments. So I remembered reading that in that book. I wish I could remember which book it was. I went through all my books to try and find this so I could tell you which book it was, and I can't find it. But then I didn't really know where to start in terms of information that I needed to go in there. So what I did find was that NHS had a birth plan template, which was amazing. You could just download this, fill it in online and then print it, but I just used some of the categories out of there to form my own birth plan. So what I will do is I will leave that link down below in the description so you can use that template if you would like to. So this isn't like my finalized plan. I can make changes to the plan as my pregnancy progresses. They've even said I can have like 2 birth plans, like an ideal birth plan and then maybe like an interventions birth plan, but because I'm quite relaxed, or I'm not being like really specific on what I want, I don't really see the need in having 2 birth plans. So the first thing I've done is made sure I've got key information at the top of my birth plan. So I have got my full name, I've got my date of birth, and I've got my NHS number, and that's the key information that they need to be able to identify you. Then the next few things that were key, so the first few things that you need to put at the beginning is baby's due date, where you would like to give birth. So For me, I've put the hospital that I will be giving birth and also that I would like to be on the midwife-led birth centre. So there is a choice between being on the labour ward or being in the midwife-led centre. Ideally, I would like to be in the midwife-led centre, but I have had it explained to me that it's only possible if there's room on it on the day, depending on how many people are giving birth, and also the kind of pain relief will also affect whether I'm able to go on the midwife-led centre. So for now, I've put that that's where I would like to be, but I understand that that could possibly change on the day. I have put that my birth partner is my husband, I've put his name, and I've put that I would like him to be with me throughout everything. So labour, intervention and C-section. So to me this was kind of a no-brainer, something that I hadn't even thought about, but there were sections in the template, if you have a look at it, that say when you want your birth partner to be with you. So I've made it really clear that I want him to be with me throughout the whole time. So that's sort of like the key information that I've put at the top of the page, so if someone glances to know who I am, who my husband is, where we want to give birth, when baby's due, etc. And yeah, it's just like the key information that I think they would need. Then we move into my birth plan. So the first category that I've discussed is equipment. So for me, I would very much like to use a birthing ball. So I've double checked with the hospital and apparently they're accessible. I do have my own. I'm hoping I don't have to bring that in the car. So I said that I would like to be mobile and active during labour and use my birthing ball. And I have put that I would like access to water, whether that be a bath or a shower that I can labour in. However, I do not want to give birth in the water. So after having a chat with the midwife, she said that all the midwife-led unit rooms have pools, so I can get in and out the birthing pool as much as I want, but obviously if I go into a labour ward they might not have access to water, there might be a shower, so it just depends again on the day. So I've said that this is a preference of mine. I would like to be able to get in the water. I have found baths very helpful throughout my pregnancy when I've been in pain and things like that. So it's on there, it's not essential. If it doesn't happen on the day, it's fine, but always best to put on there what you would like. The next section is environment. So I've put that I would like a dimly lit room, and this is really important to me in terms of like my relaxation. Even at home, like we only have really the wall lights on, we like candles, etc., and I find that really relaxing. So I don't want people coming in like turning big lights on, you know, like quite white sterile rooms while I'm trying to sort of get in the zone. So I've put when possible I would like it dimly lit. I understand if we need to like be doing you know, internals and checks and things like that, that might have to change, but for the majority of my labour I would like to be in a dimly lit room. And I've put that I'd also like to play a hypnobirthing playlist, but I don't yet have this, so I've put it in there for now, and I've put that I would also like this to be played if I end up having a C-section. So I've got something nice and relaxing to listen to and distract me. But yeah, I haven't yet got a playlist together. If you've got any good playlists, I'll leave them down below. Next section is monitoring. So I've put I'm happy for baby to be monitored in a way that allows me to move. So obviously I want to be on my birthing ball, I want to be able to move. The midwife explained that usually to listen to the heartbeat they just use the Doppler, but unless baby becomes distressed and I have to go into continuous monitoring, then it would be a lot less easy for me to move around with like the straps that I've had around my belly if you've seen my early labour video. So again, on the day, you know, if I'm able to just be monitored with the Doppler and be active, then great. If I have to go in a continuous monitor, it is what it is. And I've also put here, which is extremely like important to me, that I would prefer to have internal checks when only necessary. Now I have endometriosis, if you don't know, that's kind of how my channel started, and I find any kind of internal intervention incredibly distressing, like quite painful. So I don't want to be continuously checked and sort of stressed about being checked. So I've put only when necessary do I want to be checked. And if somebody does want to check me, then I need full transparency, good communication, explain exactly why, tell me if it's going to be painful, tell me what they're going to do. Like, I need to be talked through that. So that was a really, really important, crucial part of my birth plan. if you're going to be checking me, touching me, going inside there, I need to know how, why, is it going to hurt, and is it necessary? So I've made sure I put that in the monitoring section of my birth plan. Next one is students or doctors in training, and I really wasn't sure about this at first. When I first typed my birth plan, I said that I didn't want anybody in with me, but then after having a chat with my friend, she said that she had a really good experience with student midwives and thought they were really supportive. So I have changed it to, I'd prefer to have trainees present but not do any kind of like procedure. So, you know, sometimes a doctor will do an internal to check the cervix and then ask if a student can do it so they can learn. I think for my first baby, this is not something I want. I'm happy for them to be there and observe and as I say, be a source of support, but I don't really want them doing any kind of like procedures on me. So that is my thoughts on student nurses, doctors, midwives. Next one is keeping active during labour, and as I mentioned before, I want to keep active, I want to be able to move around. So I've put that I want to be able to move around and use my ball and try different positions. So I don't want to be just laid on the bed labouring. I want to be able to, you know, try being on all fours, try being on hands and knees, leaning on my ball. Like, I want to try everything that's going to make me comfortable. Which brings on to the next section, which is actually positions in labour. And I've just said that I'm happy to listen to my body on the day and also be guided by a midwife. So I've obviously never been in labour before. I don't know how I'm going to want to labour in terms of position. So I'm happy to just go with the flow on the day. And if a midwife wants to suggest maybe me standing or anything like that, I'm happy to do anything to help baby get out. And this is where it starts to get interesting. The next category is interventions, and I've put I'm happy to discuss options on the day. I am not tying myself down to anything. I've put if I need an episiotomy, forceps, the vacuum, and that's what recommended. I'm happy to discuss it on the day, and I'm also put in there that I'm happy for midwives to use hot compresses to prevent tearing. So I remember reading in one of my books that this could be helpful. So yeah, I'm happy for them to try that if they've got any hot compresses, to just try putting it against my perineum to try and stop any tearing during labour. Next category is pain relief, and I really had to think about this one. There was loads and loads of different options that you could choose, but again, I've just said I'm happy to listen to my body on the day. I have no idea how my body is going to handle this pain, so I am not going to sit there saying that I want a completely natural labour, or that I don't want to do pain relief, or that I don't want an epidural. Like, I'm not tying myself down to anything. So again, I put happy to listen to my body on the day. I've put that I've done a hypnobirthing course, so I'd like to try some breathing techniques, but also to remind me to do that, because when you are in pain, you know, you clench your jaw, which is linked to your pelvic floor. So when you clench your jaw, you clench your pelvic floor. So I need people to remind me to breathe, you know, 4 in, 8 out, how to do like down breathing whilst pushing. So I'm going to try my best, but I know that when I'm in pain, some of that's going to go out the window. So I have said that. I've also said that I would like to try being in water during labour to help with pain. I would like to try the gas and air, and I'm open to other methods of pain relief, but only if I ask for it. And that was the important part. I don't want to be offered pain relief. I want to very much be in charge of that and to ask for the pain relief if I want it. I know if somebody offers me pain relief, I'll feel like they're suggesting it as if they think I need it, and I might not. So I have said that I would like to ask for it. It would also mean that if I wanted anything like pethidine, or I think it's Fenta something, like it's on a clicker, or an epidural, I would need to move from the midwife-led unit onto the labour ward. So it's a big decision. So on the day, I'm happy to go with whatever I'm feeling, but I want it to be my decision. So I have put pretty much that I'm open to any kind of pain relief. Delivery of the placenta, I had two choices. I could either have an injection which quickens the delivery of the placenta, or I could just let it come naturally by itself. I've opted for the injection, and I've also put that I would like to donate my placenta if possible. And the midwife I spoke to this week said it is possible, but the company that do it only operate Monday to Friday between like 9 and 5. So obviously if I was to go into labour on a weekend, that wouldn't happen. But it's in there in case I can do it. Skin to skin contact, I've put I would like the baby to be delivered onto my tummy to allow that skin to skin for that golden hour. This, weirdly enough, was the biggest decision that I had to make, which is so weird. I could not decide whether I wanted baby delivered straight onto me, whether I wanted a minute to sort of, you know, come to terms with the fact that I've just had a baby, you know, have the midwife take him away and be cleaned and weigh him to give me a second to give him to my husband. Like, it's really hard to make that decision when you're not in that situation. So for now, I've put that I would like the baby to be delivered onto my stomach. That is for the purpose of delayed cord clamping, which was actually the category before this. I accidentally skipped one. So I have put on here that I would like to delay the clamping of the cord to allow for the extra blood to get to baby. Do some research on this. I've read it in loads of books. So yeah, I have put that, and I've put I'd like my husband to cut the cord if he's happy to do so on the day. So that kind of helped my decision in terms of whether I wanted baby to be delivered straight onto me. I spoke to other friends who've had babies as well, and they said, you want this. Like, when you got that baby out, all you want is your baby on you. So I went backwards and forwards on this. I just got really upset about it, but in the end I've decided to have baby delivered onto my stomach. Said that if I'm feeling overwhelmed, I would like the baby to be given to my husband for skin to skin. And I've put, in the event of a C-section, I would like the monitors to be placed either on my back or on my sides so I can have that skin to skin, because obviously I won't be able to see him being delivered. So I think that skin to skin will be really important if I do have a C-section. In terms of feeding baby, the next category I put that I'd like to breastfeed. I'm going to try and harvest some colostrum, so I am going to take that with me if I can. And I've put that I would like some guidance on breastfeeding before I leave the hospital. It's really important to me. I don't want them to be sending me home before I've had some guidance from a midwife. And the last category is vitamin K for baby, and I've put that I would like him to have the vitamin K injection. Again, go and do your own research on things like vitamin K injections, placenta injections, clamping the cord, etc. Go and do some reading. These are just the decisions that I have made. And then there was a section for general comments right at the end, and I have just discussed in a little bit more detail my background, the fact that I've got endometriosis, the fact that I have had laparoscopies, other interventions, fertility related procedures, and that I've got a lot of trauma behind this and confined hospital settings, internals, cervix checks, things like that, quite triggering. And I feel like it's really important for the midwife to be able to understand that. I've said that, you know, I might ask more questions than usual, need things explained to me in a little bit more depth, need a little bit more reassurance during procedures, and somebody to really be patient with me and talk me through it step by step. I want to be comfortable. I don't want to be stressed because I don't want to make baby stressed. So that was a really important section right at the end there. You can see it's a good few sentences. That is my birth plan, a whistle-stop tour. As I say, I'll leave that template down below so you can see the different categories. I really encourage you to go and do your research so you can make informed decisions. Remember that your birth plan can change now, on the day. You can write too, so you're not tied to this. If you put in here that you don't want an epidural, you change your mind on the day, that is completely fine. I'm willing to be flexible, the midwives are willing to be flexible, and I really have sort of tried to reflect that flexibility in my plan. So I'm sorry if this video is really long, hopefully it's not. I've tried to speak quite quickly, but that is my birth plan video. We are going to be 37 weeks this week, so full term. So behind me I have actually started my hospital bag, so I've got that video to come, as well as the nursery reveal. But I hope you found this video useful. If you did, don't forget to give it a big thumbs up and subscribe, and I will see you in my next video. Bye guys.